In today's video, we're going to be looking at files and file management in Python. Of course, almost everything that we do with our computer revolves around files. When we open files, maybe Word document or PDF document, when we create documents, when we try to extract information from documents or files, almost everything that we do essentially involves file operations. And in Python, you can be able to create files, you can be able to edit files, you can be able to extract information from files. You can just write a simple program that can delete files for you, rename files for you, or perform different kinds of file operations. So now we're going to write a program that can access a file using Python. So what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to create a new file. So let me go ahead and create a new file and call it data.txt. So this is a test file, and inside this file I'm going to say line 1, I can say line 2, and then line 3. So I'll save this file. So what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to write a program that can access or read the content of the file. So for me to do that, I'm going to make use of the open function. So what I'll do is that I'm going to have a variable called file and then put the equality sign, and I'm going to make use of the open function. So I'm going to say open and then provide parentheses. So what I'll do now is that I'm going to indicate the path for the file, and since the file is in the same directory or folder with my script, so I'm going to say data.txt. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm supposed to provide the access mode. So the access mode means whether you want to read the content of the file, whether you want to write a new content to a file, or whether you want to append something to an already existing file. So I'm going to use the read mode. So I'm going to put a quotation mark and then put R. This R means that I want to access the file using the read mode, even though it is optional. So if I don't include this R, I'm still accessing the file using the read mode. So the next thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to read the content of the file. And for me to read the content of the file, I can start by saying content is equal to, then I say file dot read. So with this line of code, I'm able to read the entire content of the file. So to confirm if I actually read the content of the file, I can go ahead and print content. So if I say print content and run this program, is going to display for me the content of the file. As you can see, we have line 1, line 2, and line 3. Then if we open the data.txt again, you can see that it is the content that it printed out for me. So the next thing that we're going to do is how to write content to a file. So in order for us to write content to a file, we have to access the file using the write mode. However, you should keep in mind that when using the write mode erases or overrides the content of the file. So if there is something already existing in the file, it's going to remove all of them and replace it with a new content. So I'm going to remove these lines of code. I'm going to change this to W. This W means that I'm accessing the file using the write mode. So now I'm going to provide the content which I want to put into the file. So I can have content is equal to, then I can say this is the content. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to write the content into the file. So I can say file.write, then I provide the content which I want to put into the file. So I can say content. So this is the content. So if I run this code, it's going to write this content into the file. So if I open data.txt now, you can see that it has removed the already existing content there and replaced it with the new content. So I can as well come here and then view the content of the file. So I can simply say file is equal to open, and then I provide the file name, which is data.txt. And then the next thing I'm going to provide is the read mode, or I can leave it like this. Of course, this means that I'm accessing the file using the read mode. So I can say content is equal to file.read, and then I can as well print the content. Print content. So let me clear my terminal, so that if I run this program, it's going to show me the content of the file. This is the content. So the next thing that we're going to do is how to include content to a file. We'll call it appending. You don't want to wipe away the content of the file. You want to append new content to the file. So for you to do this, you are going to access the file using the append mode. So I can go ahead and remove this. I can also remove this as well. So now I'm going to replace this W with A. This means that I'm trying to access the file using the append mode. So the next thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to provide the content which I want to put in the file. So I can have content is equal to, then I can say this is another content. Then I can say file.write, and then I put content. So if I run this program, it's going to append this content to the file. So if I open the file, you can see that it appended the content to the file. But this is not exactly what we wanted to achieve. We had wanted this to be on a new line. And for us to do that, we're going to make use of the escape sequence for new line. So maybe let's change this to this is or another line again. So, but instead of just having the content as another line, I'm going to put a new line. So for me to do that, I'm going to use the backslash and then provide n. This means new line. So if I run this program, it's going to append it, but this time around it's going to append it on a new line. So if I open the data.txt, you can see that it is in a new line. So we've covered how to read the content of a file, how to write to a file using the write mode, and how to append content to a file. So in our next video, we're going to be looking at object-oriented programming.